Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Named the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in paints?
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Hi, and welcome to Beer with Geeks, where two geeks geek out with beer. I'm Tim, and with me, as always, is my man who loves Star Wars. It's Frank. How are you today?
I do. I really do. You got me. You nailed it. I don't know how you figured it out, but you got it. You got my number.
I was going to try to be clever, and I was like, no, this is what it is. Frank loves Star Wars, and
no need.
And why wouldn't we just cheer that on?
Just embrace it.
Yeah,
just embrace it.
It has been embossed, Frank. It has been embossed. How are you today?
I'm doing okay, my friend. It is good to see your smiling face.
Thank you. It's good to see yours too. I'm glad that I actually am smiling. So you're also not a liar, which is
That's
awesome.
True. Yeah. That. Thank you. That's very convenient that I'm not lying. Yeah.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Well, Frank, on Beer with Geeks, we drink and talk about geeky things. What are you drinking today?
I am drinking a something that the Millennium Falcon is lovingly called a bucket of bolts, and I am drinking something that is, I guess, spiritually similar. It is a Cushnoc Rust Bucket Red.
That is a good connection that you made. Bucket of bolts, bucket of red,
a Rust Bucket. Yeah. There we go.
And we love the red on here.
And the unsung hero is the red ale. So yeah, it is a red ale born on the Kennebec River. Cushnoc is a Maine brewery. It's got notes of orange zest, pine, and caramel.
Oh, pine.
Yeah. I don't really know if I taste the caramel, to be honest with the orange zesting and pine. I definitely am getting. Yeah.
Pine can be an overwhelming.
It's not.
Sensation?
It's not here.
Good.
Actually, now that I take it back, I do kind of get this caramel as an after note.
Nice.
But yeah, no, not overwhelmingly pine. It's just a nice little hint of pine.
Hints are good.
Yeah. What are you drinking today?
I, sir, am not drinking a beer. I've been teaching, I don't think I've ever said this online here. I've been teaching an adjunct course, which I have been done for the past couple of years, but I am, but this one's a night course. And so I got myself a coffee on the way there and the way back. So I still had some left. So instead of just like ditching that, I thought I would go and make it an Irish coffee to finish up the night. And so I am drinking just a black coffee, but with Shanky's Whip in it, which is made in Ireland. It is spirits distilled from whey with natural flavors and caramel colors. It's got I don't know. Truly, I really don't know how to describe Shanky's Whip. I guess it's kind of got a oh gosh, now it's got a Bailey's quality to it, I guess. Okay. Without the cream.
Okay.
Like kind of the whey is doing what the cream and Bailey's.
So it's a liqueur.
Yeah. It's like it's got that liqueur flavor, but it's more of a whiskey.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah, it is good. Bailey's is probably as close as I can get to a comparison in something here, but it is really tasty. I kind of picked it up on a whim over the summer, maybe. And the name itself amused me. So
yes.
Sometimes like that's enough for me. This is a 5 out of 5 brand. You'll love it. This is a funny name.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Sorry, established things that's been around since 1717. I'm going with the funny name.
It's a good reason. It's a good enough reason.
Yep, bottled and blended in Ireland. Shanky and Charmin's Shanky's Whip.
Nice.
Always one to buck the trend. Yeah,
love that
stuff. Yeah, Shanky's Whip is whipped together in Ireland. Try on the rocks as an ice cold shot or with your favorite mixer.
All right.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. I mean, their recipes are. It is a secret. They do not. The Shanky's Whip does not reveal, but it is a very good Irish coffee.
Well, cheers to that, my friend. I love that for you.
Thank you. I love that for me too, Frank. What I actually have been loving is this amount of Star Wars that's been in the atmosphere recently. Because you know how we go through phases, right? You know, like I'm not that I'm not into Star Wars, but we'll go through several months at a time where we're just not talking about Star Wars. It's not in our interest zone right now. I need to look for other things. I'm interested in superheroes. I'm interested in the Beatles. I'm interested in.
I'm always interested in the Beatles, Tim.
Yeah, other sci-fi, you know, whatever it is that we're doing. But recently, Adam Driver said that he and Steven Soderbergh pitched a movie with a script to Lucasfilm that was The Hunt for Ben Solo. Takes place after Rise of Skywalker. Kathleen Kennedy liked it, greenlit it, took it to Bob Iger, and the Disney execs said, no. How can it be that he's still alive? We're confused, not making this movie. Now, I'm not going to say that's made up, Frank. It's not made up. Like, no. That's perfectly legitimate. A studio executive's going, I don't understand this. Pass is the hallmark of good movies that get passed over.
Oh, so true.
And then eventually do get made. So I truthfully am optimistic, even though they say that it's dead.
Yeah. I think it is the media around it, the whole press cycle around it, news cycle, I guess is the term I'm looking for. It felt a little manufactured, felt a little like,
absolutely.
Is this a thing? Is this would anybody be into this? Like, it felt there was a couple of coordinated things happening, including the official Star Wars YouTube channel uploaded the day after this story. Did you see this? Uploaded the scene, the lightsaber duel from Rise of Skywalker. Very, very coincidental timing that they would upload that the day after. It just felt like it might have been a lightly coordinated kind of thing.
Okay. You know what? But that's okay.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Deadpool got made. You know,
right.
You know, like I'm not upset by Hollywood or any executive or any creative going, are people interested? Because we don't want to waste millions of dollars in people's time. I want to see if people are interested. Yeah. And as much as people complain about the sequels, Kylo Ren or Ben Solo is not the issue with those films.
No,
he's just not. In fact, he's the highlight. Yeah. He's one of the good bits.
Yeah.
So I would 100% be in for watching this movie. I mean, this is the joke that went around was like, oh, we don't understand how he can still be alive. Says the very people who brought Palpatine back and goes, somehow he's alive.
To be fair, I think that their hesitance may have been in reaction to that. Like, wait a second, we just got fans just eviscerated us for somehow Palpatine has returned. Now you want to do somehow Ben Solo returned? I don't think so. Like, I could see that being their rationale.
Somehow, like, if you give me a legitimate reason, like,
but I can see an executive taking the slightly wrong lesson from that, right, and being like, they didn't like that you brought back a dead character. Like, they thought it was too easy, whatever. Like to think that like fans didn't like bringing back the dead character, so let's not.
You know what's funny about that moment too, and everything. I'm not even sure that people were upset that they brought back a dead character. Like, oh, the Emperor's back. Like, that's actually not the issue.
That's the
issue. Is everyone going like if we like if people stood around in a meeting and went, well, somehow Hitler returned, and everyone went, okay, and nobody just questioned the magnitude of that sentence or the how or the what. And that's what's actually wild about that part. It has nothing to do with Palpatine actually returning.
Yeah.
This is
no one was upset with Palpatine returned. Everyone was upset with somehow.
Correct. Somehow. Yeah. And also probably not the moment for us to dive into it as a like in terms of pacing and tone and everything. I understand. So that like, but make a better movie. That's whatever.
Yeah, I mean, even if you didn't explain it in that conversation, explain it.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's okay. That's of the past. But the wrong lesson I think would have been taken from. Oh, they don't want a dead character back because that's nonsense. Star Wars is filled with dead characters coming back.
Yeah,
all the time.
Yeah. Yes,
like
whether people getting lightsaber stabbed in the gut and still coming back to life. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Right. It's a soap opera. Like people come like their soap operas.
Darth Maul was chopped in half and
Correct.
still came back.
Perfect. Like soap operas hinge on somebody walking down the stairs and being Vanessa Vaudeville is back.
Yes.
Like whatever.
Vanessa Vaudeville?
I don't know.
That was good.
That was pretty good, right?
Sounds like a borderline real name.
Correct. Yes. At least on a soap opera.
Yeah. Yes.
Vanessa Vaudeville. I crack myself up. But I was you and I recently watched a video which Frank will put in the show notes.
Yes.
We'll link in the show notes that kind of went through George Lucas's original plans for 7, 8, and 9, which we had heard snippets of, and some of it was speculation and what had occurred and what not. But truthfully, hearing what George's plans were did two things for me. One, it actually made me like the sequels a little bit more, not because I didn't like George's direction, what he wanted to do or what he had story treatment down, but was actually amazing how much they like did use and twist into their own needs
more than I thought.
Like a lot, like even like Luke being a hermit, different kind of hermit. Like George had him still practicing the Force more in like an aesthetic kind of, like a monk of the desert kind of way, like not Albert the Great. Who am I thinking of? Antony
of Egypt.
Yes, Antony of Egypt. Thank you. I knew it started with an A though. Yeah. But more like that. And but instead, Last Jedi took it where he was that, but instead he had cut himself off. So it was like the depressing version of what George said. But still, that hermit idea was still there. It was still that he was betrayed by somebody in the Jedi Order, which is why it disbanded and didn't exist anymore. So like Han Solo was still going to die in Episode 7. So they're like all the stuff was a lot of stuff was still there, but Disney or Abrams or whoever you want to talk about as far as writers are concerned and whatever, they added betrayed by the son of Han and Leia.
Yes.
They added Luke's in this direction. They took out like Leia as a full Jedi, but kept her as a Force user, just in a different capacity. So like there was a lot going on that even like Rey, who had different names, Taya at one point, and all this stuff, which actually kind of like better, truthfully, than Rey. Like she was still like her own ostracized outsider as something, and she like the movies were really about a female protagonist looking to become a Jedi, and that Luke really wasn't present in Episode 7, even in George's version, because it took away from the main narrative. Like there was a lot of stuff in there that I went, well, that is actually what I would have watched if George had done it too, or if they had made turned George's more fully formed story treatment into films. What was your reaction?
Yeah, I was surprised by how close it was, because the way that George has spoken about it in the years since is like he's used some very choice words for how he felt that Disney took his baby and what they did to it. So you would think that it was so far removed from his ideas, but there was a decent amount of like the shape of what he had in mind is there. Like you can see sort of shadows of it. Like in Plato's allegory of the cave, it'd be sort of like, yeah, it's recognizably similar. There's some stuff there that's like kind of similar enough that it would give similar enough shadows to
what shadows of the Empire.
Oh.
I think that what they pessimized Star Wars. That's really the difference between like George's take on things. Like even at their darkest, they're still hopeful.
Yeah.
And if you like, a lot of the sequel trilogy says that it's hopeful. It like will tell you that it is, but it's not filmed that way. It's not written that way. It doesn't feel that way at all. It's made with a very pessimistic mindset.
I think so. Yeah.
In a lot of ways, a capitalist mindset. It feels that way.
Truly, I think that's what bothered a lot of people who dislike the sequel trilogy. I think that a lot of it is more in tone than it is in actually what happens. Like it's, I think a lot of people are less. I'm choosing my words carefully, but like I think a lot of the arguments around like, oh, Luke would never have done this or that, is more about the tone of it than the substance of it.
Yep. Because like I am of the camp that Luke absolutely would do that.
Yeah,
but I am also of the camp that Luke probably would have done it a little bit differently.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah. Yeah. One thing I really liked was this idea of Leia as like the through line and the becoming the, chancellor or whatever, becoming the leader of the new Republic government after the First Order or whatever that was going to be called. Like, I loved that idea of her not only leading the new rebellion, but then becoming the head of the government. And, I love that, becoming a Jedi and becoming the head of the government. And like, that's bringing balance to the Force. Like that's being the chosen one, essentially.
Right.
And I love that as like a reveal of like, it was Leia all along. Like I actually kind of really, there's some really cool stuff they could have done there. And I wish they had done something with that. I wish Carrie Fisher had lived so they could do something with that.
It occurred to me that like, because some of the stuff that was in there, like the overarching villain of the sequel trilogy was actually Darth Maul, who had like taken control of the remnant empire and used it to his own advantage. And he had Darth Talon as his apprentice, which was from the expanded universe. And like, and we're seeing some of that in the upcoming Darth Maul television show, which is really cool. And we're seeing like the Imperial Remnant we've seen in The Mandalorian.
Yes.
And so we're seeing George's ideas now dispersed in other areas in the Filoni, Favreau era, because, the Padawans of George Lucas, Dave Filoni, and then by extension, Jon Favreau.
Leave it to Filoni, right? Like he learned at the knee of the master, and now he is like one way or another, he's kind of letting those ideas come to the surface.
Ideas are all dispersed and they're all in here. But what I found interesting about your comment that you'd wish that Carrie Fisher had lived to kind of see this to fruition, but also that they diverted away from Leia for obvious reasons. She passed away too early and everything. But they really actually took Mon Mothma and made her that central Leia figure instead. So even though she's not a Jedi and it's not the chosen one and not bringing balance to the Force, they elevated the next logical character in the place of like where Leia would have gone. We're seeing that in not the sequel trilogy, obviously.
Right. A different timeline, but yes.
But in the different timeline, but where this Remnant and Darth Maul thing is happening and everything, we're seeing Mon Mothma as that figurehead instead. It was supposed to be Leia, but we're actually seeing it as Mon instead, which I really like, truthfully.
I do too. Yeah, I do too.
It's a good expansion and pivot from the original intent.
Yes. Yeah. It's a good retooling of that. Yeah. Yeah. I think so. Like I think that was the biggest surprise to me, was that Leia thing, and like such a like, oh my God, that was right there. Like that was right there for them to use. And I wish they'd had the opportunity. It's honestly, who knows? Maybe they would have if they could have, but they couldn't.
Right.
So it's kind of
we had heard for a long time that Rise of Skywalker was supposed to, like, if Force Awakens was Han's movie, Jedi was Luke's, and then Rise of Skywalker was really supposed to be Leia's. So.
Yeah.
It is what it is. what did you think about here, like about Maul as the overarching villain of the next wave of trilogy? I thought that was a really nice tie to the prequel.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought that would have been that. I think that would have been really, really cool, and it would have been like really bookending things, and really like, you know, like Lucas likes to do. It would have had that whole feeling of like, it's like poetry, it rhymes, and you know, the cyclical nature of it, and like I think that could have been really, really cool, and really I lament that we didn't get to see that. I lament that we didn't, you know, that we got those threads that were dangled in Solo that never really got brought to fruition.
Yep, I agree.
Even. But
well, I guess now they will be.
Now they will be.
Shadowhunter is really what is.
Yeah,
I mean, you know how it ends, because you know that he eventually goes after Obi-Wan on Tatooine and is killed if you watch Rebels or had watched Rebels. So
right.
So it is a little bit different.
Yes. Yeah, it's still different. Yeah. Yeah. But I think that would have been like that idea that, okay, the government fell and now there's chaos, there's a power vacuum, and so there's all these gangs that have taken over, and that Maul unites is the one to be the power broker and bring all the, you know, 5 families together, so to speak, and try to wield that power. I think could be such a compelling story to tell in those movies, and have him be the big adversary against our heroes. Yeah, I think that could have been very cool. It does seem like Lucas didn't really have. He had the Taya or Kira or whatever her name was going to be character, and he didn't really have, like, there was no Finn or
no Poe.
Like, those characters didn't exist, and there wasn't really that role wasn't really filled by anybody. I guess there was the other. Oh, what were I can't remember the name of the other male protagonist that was sort of thrown out there alongside the Taya character.
It was,
but you know what I mean.
Yeah, the Han Solo rogue.
The Han Solo character. Yeah, the young rogue. There was that, which I guess is sort of Poe, but not really. Like, no, it sounds like
truthfully, it just sounds like a rehash of Han Solo.
It does. It does, yeah.
Which I didn't love. Like, I think one of the strengths of, like, I think Star Wars exists well on a trio, right? You know, Han, Luke, and Leia, and Obi-Wan, Padme, and Anakin, and then Rey, Finn, and Poe. But like, Rey, Finn, and Poe don't become a trio until the 3rd film, so theirs is a weaker. Theirs is a weaker set, and they're not. I mean, like, Padme, Obi-Wan, and Anakin are not a trio in the first movie.
Not really, yeah.
But they are. At least they are by the time you hit the second one.
Sure.
But I think that what the strength of Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme is that they have a very different dynamic than Han, Luke, and Leia. And so I think if you were just going to end up copying the original trilogy dynamic with here's your rogue and here's your Jedi, and like it just doesn't. It's just not as effective.
Yeah, I agree.
And so at least in the sequel, like the Poe, Finn, and Rey dynamic, they are technically, the Finn is the rogue because he goes rogue, and Poe is the Leia character. You know, and then Rey is the Jedi character, but they're not the same type.
No,
like, their personalities are so off and different, everything, and they do feel a little bit more fresh.
That's right.
And so, yeah, their dynamic is so very different.
Yeah, it's very different. It's very different. It's hard to believe that was 10 years ago. That Force Awakens. This Christmas will be 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Just mind blowing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think he had some good ideas. I think it did need more developing, but he had some good ideas. I would like to have seen a version of that. The thing that I don't particularly care for is it sounds like he wanted to go real deep on the wills You know, the original title, you know, was like the Star Wars taken from the Journal of the Wills, and the Wills were meant to be these creatures who were the whole force behind the Force that were the midichlorians and everything. And that gets a little too, and maybe I'm curious how you feel about it. That gets a little too into like sort of fantasy for me, and it starts to feel a little bit like Wizards adjacent, where I'm just sort of like,
You know, truthfully, it doesn't feel like Wizards adjacent to me. It actually feels like really B sci-fi, like 50s B sci-fi.
B being the
B being the optimal,
the operative word there.
It just I don't mind the midichlorians. I understand the
I don't
point
either.
of it. Like it's still mystical. Like you're just adding a layer to like how the Force works.
Quite literally science fiction.
Correct.
It's putting pseudoscience around it, right? It's
right. I think that Star Wars operates on we've talked about this a lot, where Star Wars operates really on a fantasy level.
Yeah.
And it just happens to take place in outer space and have lasers and ships and stuff, but it's not like it is really it depending on the story that you're telling, it veers way more strongly into fantasy than traditional fantasy arcs than
traditional sci-fi.
Traditional sci-fi. However, the Wills you can also read in either direction, but it feels very B movie to me, and not the Jerry Seinfeld B movie, but you know, just like the letter B. I would a part of me is that I appreciate it because he really is fulfilling the whole, like his whole, I don't know, the mission or story or whatever. But we would look
Flash
at it,
Gordon, like he's really going for the thing that he loved, right? Was Flash Gordon, and was like sci-fi B movies, like movie serials,
right? I would say that has third act problems.
Yes. Yeah. I would say it has first act problems. I would say like there's not a lot to be personally invested in, like unless these Wills have personalities that develop pretty quickly. Do you know what I mean? Like
I'm sure they would, and I'm sure they'd be cute.
I'm sure they would. Yeah, I don't know, man. I think George's what George did so well was taking the Flash Gordons and things and making them, elevating them, taking the elements of them, the bare bones of it, and elevating it. And I think where he missteps is when he veers too hard into like not just homage to those things, but like remaking them.
See Indiana Jones and the Crystal Skull.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
like he goes too far into remaking those things, and that's when he loses people. And the funny thing to me is that he loses people, and they're like, "Where did this come from?" And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, "No, I see where this came from. I just think he leaned too hard in that direction." But like, I see the through line. There is a through line here. Mm-hmm. It is all of a piece. I see it. It's just like, maybe it's not your cup of tea and whatever, but like to be confused by it, I find funny because it's like, no, man, the thing that you like is actually like an homage to Flash Gordon. Like, realize it or not, like it or not, what you enjoy is an homage to Flash Gordon. When it becomes too Flash Gordon is when you don't like it. But I've always found that fascinating and sort of interesting that he can't help himself and he goes too far into Flash Gordon or insert any other 30s sci-fi here, but like it's when he goes too far into it that the pulp stuff that it starts to lose people.
And I mean, there's a reason that the pulp stuff isn't popular anymore. Like it did fall out of fashion.
Exactly.
So to try to recapture that exact thing that's the misstep.
Yeah,
it had its moment and we're past it, but.
And it's the thing that Star Wars does well is taking the best elements of it, putting Kurosawa onto it, putting
pastiching. He's pastiching it. Yeah, it's a mix. Yes. It's a mix of everything.
Yes.
And Star Wars can be more things. I think that Star Wars now suffers when it like is trying to be the pastiche for something that you're like the makers are not personally invested in. Mm-hmm. Like when like it oh, we're trying to do Kurosawa, but they only have a vague understanding of what that is. They're not a student of Kurosawa. They're just like, I have maybe heard of Seven Samurai before.
I understand this is a thing that they like, so let me make one of these.
Yeah, and that's not the same. I think stronger Star Wars exists when it is doing, it's doing,
when it's like a love letter.
Filmmakers feel the heart of it themselves because they like it. That's why
I think Skeleton Crew was really good at that.
Yeah, Skeleton Crew is a great example of that because it's an 80s kids movie, right? It's not one of George's influences by any stretch. In fact, Star Wars came out before that era.
Exactly. It couldn't be, right? But the makers of it clearly loved that source material that they were doing homage to. And I think they did a good homage to it in the Star Wars universe.
Even that, like, season 1 of The Mandalorian is strongly Western, which obviously Star Wars is too.
Yes.
But like, obviously the Western is important to its filmmakers, like, because it understands it not on just on a subtextual level, not just on a surface level.
Yeah.
And but anyway, like, but I think when it's too much, when the love is too there from something that's so outdated and not broad enough, that's when something like The Wills would have
fallen flat.
And truthfully, I think The Wills is probably where they went, we're not going to use these.
Yeah.
These stories, we're not going to use these because the other stuff, like, it's there. Like, it's actually all there.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a slightly varied direction. I just think that probably ultimately that because the villain was so drastically different, and you're looking at an Imperial remnant instead of, technically the First Order is a remnant. It's just like a more well organized remnant.
Yes. Yeah.
But like, you wouldn't have been looking at a rehash of A New Hope. You would have been looking at a different story.
Yes.
Because George didn't want to retell the story he already told. He wanted to do something new. So
I think he's allergic to retelling the same story,
which is great.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
So it is what never will be. Maybe the hunt for Ben Solo will be something, and then, but I think it's fascinating that we are still getting George's ideas out there in other Star Wars, Star Wars media, shows, movies, whatever, comics.
God bless Dave Filoni, man.
He's doing it. Yeah. I mean, sometimes he goes too far too. Like, he can do George, and he's too far in his own work.
Yep.
Sometimes
Ahsoka season 1.
Right. Although, which I enjoyed. It didn't bother me the way that it bothered other people. But
yeah. I do think if you want an example of something that went too far into his own work.
But it did go too far into his own work. I agree. Yeah. But anyway, Frank, where can the people find us?
Beerwithgeeks.com is a great place to find us. Any podcast app, including YouTube, is a great place to find us. And you can rate and review us in those places. And of course, patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio is the best place to support us and help us keep making the show.
Good. Frank, it's always a pleasure to talk Star Wars with you. I mean, it's just like a breeze. Minutes, seconds go by, and I'm like, has this been hours? Who's to say? Yeah. Frank, until next time. Cheers.